Do you suffer and feel pain when you see animals suffer? I have this letter from somebody in the USA, and this person has always felt connected to animals and their well-being, even since a child, and feels heartbreak at the suffering of animals across the world. She writes, I know that they have their path and journey too, and it's beyond my control, but I do send them prayers and try to let it go. Some of the time I'm successful, but most of the time it hurts. What does this say about me and my past lives? Should I ignore them? Any suggestions? Well, yes, I think of Brother Francis, Saint Francis, who loved all beings, all creatures, with a deep sympathy and deep compassion, and he saw in all beings the presence of God. And that can be a very helpful meditation, very helpful practice in order to see the highest in all things, all people, and all animals as well. We all have a path to follow, and this world is inconveniently arranged to eliminate suffering of any kind. It's part and parcel with the world itself. So don't think so much about past lives. It's curious, of course, but not necessarily. We can't really necessarily know the truth of that. But instead, deepen your compassion. But see that animals, as Swami Kriyananda, Ananda's founder and teacher and a disciple of Paramahansa Yogananda, taught us, that animals don't have quite the extent of ego that we do, and they generally don't feel as much pain as we would under the same circumstances. Now, that doesn't mean they don't feel pain, but much of the pain that you and I feel is because of our reaction to it, or even our anticipation of it, like going to the dentist. So be at least somewhat reassured that animals tend to accept their suffering with a little bit more even-mindedness, in a sense, than we tend to. There's a curious story that Lahiri Mahashai, one of the masters and gurus in the lineage of Yogananda, was experimenting during his lifetime with how to help animals progress towards their soul without perhaps even having to come into human form, where things get a lot more complicated because we have greater choices and this and that. So I don't know if he ever succeeded in that. Maybe it wasn't the time in the evolution of human consciousness to come up with that way of advancing animals. But continue to feel your compassion. Shutting off compassion is not the solution. It's rather to feel it at the same time with a higher aspect of wisdom. And yes, as you already do, pray for them, of course. But this is a good thing, this compassion you feel. But what you want, of course, is not to take their suffering and simply increase your suffering. Rather, you want to feel that and yet bless them on their journey, knowing that all of us must suffer at some point in this life, on this world, in this human body, in any body. So bless them and see them as having souls and having the divine within them, and from that to even learn some lessons and to feel the divine presence. If you pray for them to feel that higher presence within them, that could actually mitigate whatever suffering or pain they feel.